This show in no way whatsoever condones or promotes any crime or behavior that harms children or anyone else. This program is educational and preventative. It is not a substitute for professional therapy. Unless otherwise stated, neither the host nor any guest is a credentialed professional of any kind. If you feel you need mental health treatment, please seek a professional. Welcome to Authenticity Redefined, Round Zero.
Police are accusing a former public defender of sexually assaulting a child.
Las Vegas math middle school teacher accused of having an inappropriate relationship with a 13-year-old girl.
County Fire Lieutenant and his wife are accused of sexual activity with a teenage girl.
Pastor charged with raping a young girl. They're worried he may have molested even more children.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground now! Get on the ground!
They say the former cop not only used his badge to gain the trust of children and parents, but used it to hide his alleged crimes. And despite red flags,
we do not tolerate this crime.
These are among the sickest tops of criminals.
Stop it! Stop it, your enemy! Stop it, your enemy!
Stop the madness.
Imagine you have a beautiful swimming pool in your backyard. Crystal clear blue water. You can see all the way to the bottom. Right now, kids are laughing, splashing, and playing in the pool. Their parents are sitting nearby on lounge chairs, chatting and relaxing, completely at ease. Everything looks perfect. Happy, normal. No one suspects anything is wrong. But here's what the parents don't know. The owner stopped maintaining the pool a week ago. He stopped adding chemicals. He stopped running the filter properly. He's been quietly neglecting it, but he hasn't told a soul. He's just letting it sit. Now, in the first 24 to 48 hours, you might not even notice anything. The water still looks mostly clear. The kids keep playing and laughing like nothing's changed. But underneath the surface, bacteria are already starting to multiply. Swimmers might start feeling mild skin irritation. Their eyes might burn, or early ear infections. If anyone swallows a little bit of water, they could get mild stomach upset. Still though, from the outside, everything appears fine. By day 3, things are quietly shifting. A faint green tint begins spreading in the deeper areas. Algae starts forming on the walls and floor. The water is becoming contaminated, but many people still can't see it yet. The kids keep jumping in. By day 5 to 7, especially if the weather is warm and the water is stagnant, the change becomes undeniable. The pool turns completely green and murky. Slimy algae coats the walls and steps, and the surfaces become dangerously slippery. The bacterial load is much higher, increasing the risk of skin infections, gastrointestinal illness, respiratory issues, and even mosquito breeding. What was once clean, inviting, and safe is now contaminated and gross. And you know what the crazy part is? For several days, everything still looked mostly normal on the surface. Kids kept playing. The parents kept relaxing. There were no obvious signs of neglect until suddenly the pool turned green. That's how fast a neglected pool can go from beautiful to completely overrun. Now, What if I told you the human mind works exactly the same way? When we stop maintaining it, when we stop adding the right chemicals of full disclosure, receptivity to outside feedback, and honest self-criticism, intrusive thoughts and urges become like algae spores. They're almost always present in small amounts. But once the conditions are right, they can ferment and bloom fast, often while everything still looks normal on the surface. In the previous episode, we discussed an Australian study that found 1 in 7 men reported having sexual feelings towards children or teens under 18. That was an anonymous study, but I can't help but wonder how many of those men were too afraid to disclose what they were feeling. Those statistics represent silence, a neglected, stagnant pool. Potential sex offenders whose minds have crossed into harmful, antisocial territory stay trapped in closed channel thinking. They fear full disclosure because they believe they'll be treated as vicious, predatory monsters lurking behind bushes. Now, what does the pool owner have to do to restore the swimming pool back to a clean, healthy condition that is safe for everyone? Well, it depends on how far gone the pool is. In the early stages, some scrubbing, adding chlorine, and running the filter might be enough. But the longer the neglect, the harsher the treatment needs to be. In pool stores, they sell this product. It's called Shock. And combined with acid, it can kill the algae and restore the water to clear blue in 24 to 48 hours. The objective of this analogy is to identify 2 distinct groups. The first group is the disclosure group. Those with stagnant, closed channel thinking, filled with criminal sexual thinking errors and patterns. What started out as intrusive thoughts attached itself to feelings and urges and has now fermented and bloomed out of control. Their erroneous thinking must be corrected. They desperately need chlorine or shock poured in immediately before irresponsible actions manifest. The second group is the intervention group. The people who carry the moral obligation to intervene. To be effective, both groups must be taught specific skills and knowledge. In order to disclose effectively, a person must conform to a standard designed to open the channels of communication. They must recognize their own manipulative tactics to avoid accountability. Likewise, the person intervening must learn to identify and correct and deter specific criminal thinking errors and manipulative tactics that keep the person in the disclosure group in closed channel thinking. They must be trained to pour the shock and bring the person back to his senses. It's important for both groups to understand a person is only as sick as their secrets. Let's play out 2 different timelines. Okay, the first timeline, closed channel. The potential offender does not disclose. He stays on the path of closed channel thinking, failure to disclose, lack of receptivity, and lack of self-criticism. What starts as an intrusive thought quickly develops into fantasies. He plays mental movies, looping the pleasurable parts over and over. Super optimism convinces him everything will work out perfectly. Fantasies turn into schemes. Schemes only need opportunities. Throughout the entire process, no disclosure took place, no correctives were applied. The thoughts stagnated and bloomed like algae. And then someone gets hurt. That's the danger of closed channel thinking. Not just with sexual crimes, but really with all crimes, and really with all irresponsible actions. Let's go to the second timeline. We'll call this one open channel. The person with irresponsible thoughts discloses to a responsible person. The intervention group, acting as a representative of the community, immediately pours the chemicals into the stagnant pool. They confront the thinking errors directly and help deter the dangerous patterns. There is no other refuge. Until a person confronts himself in the eyes and hearts of others, he is running. Until he suffers them to tell his secrets, he has no safety from them. Afraid to be known, he will know neither himself nor another. He will be alone. Here together, a person can at last appear clearly to themselves, not as a giant of their dreams, nor a dwarf of their fears, but as a mature, responsible member of the community, a part of a whole. With this share and this purpose, on this ground, we can each take root and grow. Not alone as in death, but alive to ourselves and others. In the coming episodes, we will go deeper. We will begin the training needed to both disclose and intervene. We'll discuss the history of the study of criminality. We'll go into the theory behind the practical skills that will inspire a person to disclose unhealthy thinking so they can present themselves authentically to those around them. Together we'll learn to communicate openly and honestly, to restore the mind, to bring awareness, and to stop the madness. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Until next time, take care.